Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bring you our 2013 NFL Draft Special for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're handing out draft grades, and we're going to take a look at every last selection the Steelers made this past April, as well as some undrafted free agents that you want to keep an eye on. The Pittsburgh Steelers came into the 2013 draft looking to reload on defense and also add some playmakers on offense. When you look at their draft selections, you can see some guys, even in the latter part of the rounds, that can have an impact on this football team, like Vince Williams out of Florida State. I love his potential as an inside linebacker. Nick Williams played in a 3-4 defense at Stanford, fits perfectly for what they want to do up front. And also Justin Brown, very underrated wide receiver coming out of a very good program in Oklahoma. And what I like most about the Steelers draft, they were able to reload defensively. I alluded to that earlier. Jarvis Jones is a guy that I was surprised to fall this far, and the Pittsburgh Steelers were ecstatic to get a guy of this caliber at pick 17. When you put the tape on, he's always making plays behind the line of scrimmage. He's even making plays in coverage. So I can care less about his 40 time. I can care less about the combine. This is why teams like the Pittsburgh Steelers always end up with great football players. They ignore the workouts and draft guys that can actually play the game of football. And when you look at Shamarko Thomas out of Syracuse, another guy that can play the game of football, very good strong safety, has the ability also to match up versus tight ends in coverage. I like this pick a lot. And I'm also a big fan of Terry Hawthorne, cornerback out of Illinois. I was at the practices all week long at the East-West Shrine game, and he held his own. I was really impressed with what he brought to the table as a press corner. Also has the added benefit of being a solid returner and will easily replace Keenan Lewis, who moved on to the New Orleans Saints. And on offense, they lose Mike Wallace via free agency, but they bring in a guy in Marcus Wheaton I really like. Gives you a little bit more than Mike Wallace does. He actually can go across the middle and catch the football. Is not fearless over the middle despite his size. He also has the breakaway speed to get deep down the field. So this was an excellent replacement for a guy like Mike Wallace, who's moved on to Miami. Now, what I didn't like about the Steelers draft, I felt as though they got the same style of back in Le'Veon Bell. I like the player. I just don't like the fit for Pittsburgh. How many of these type of backs do you need on a team? They need a guy that's a breakaway threat that adds a different element to their offense. And I'm not sold on backup quarterback Landry Jones. Solid production over the course of his career at Oklahoma. And the scary part is that when you look at their two deep, he's better than the backup. So that's even scarier, because we know throughout the course of the season, Ben Roethlisberger will miss at least one game. And you don't want Landry Jones out there as your starting quarterback. There were other guys on the board that they could have went with instead of a guy like Landry Jones. An undrafted free agent that could surprise and make the Steelers roster, I look at running back Curtis McNeil out of USC. Remember earlier when I talked about not having a breakaway threat in the backfield? This guy instantly can provide that. Silky smooth runner, understands the running game, and does a great job of setting up his blockers, and also has that added element of the breakaway run. So I think he has a great chance to provide that change of pace in that Steelers offense. Keep an eye on this young man throughout the course of the summer and into preseason. I'm giving the Steelers a B+ for their draft. I love what they were able to do on defense. Shamarko Thomas, Jarvis Jones, Vince Williams, an inside linebacker. And I even like Le'Veon Bell as a player. So even though I may not agree with the fit, I still like the player. Overall, they got better. Marcus Wheaton can come in as that third wide receiver and have an immediate impact, and also help you out on special teams. Terry Hawthorne, another solid corner that can also help you out as a returner. So overall, the Steelers got better with this past year's draft. And I want to give a huge shout out to Steeler fan forums for always showing football game plan support.